Now, reports from Russian state media say the most important ship in Russia's Black Sea fleet, the Moskva missile cruiser, has been badly damaged after ammunition on board blew up, causing a fire. The Moskva is one of the key ships of the Russian fleet. Quoting the Russian Defense Ministry, Interfax said the crew had all been evacuated and that the cause of the fire was being investigated. Earlier, a Ukrainian official said the ship had been hit by 2 missiles, but this has not been confirmed. Well, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis is a senior fellow at the foreign policy think tank Defence Priorities. Here's his perspective.
Well, it has to be very serious that they evacuated all the crew members. There's a crew contingent of about 500 on one of those kinds of missile cruisers. So it had to be something very, very serious. And that's not something you do very simply. That had to have taken some time. And of course, this is the second ship that's been damaged in the war. There was also a Russian landing ship in the port city of Berdyansk that we know for sure was destroyed by the Ukrainians. We still don't know whether this one was actually destroyed by the Ukrainians or whether it was just another bad accident in the Russian Navy. But in any case, this is a really black eye on them because it was the flagship, not just a spy ship.
Well, let's go live now to the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. Our correspondent Anna Foster is there. Hello to you, Anna. And what more are you hearing there about what exactly happened to the Moskva?
These two really competing narratives we're getting this morning about what exactly happened last night. Ukraine is adamant that this was a result of its own military action. 2 missiles fired at that ship that hit their target. They are projecting this very much as a win for them this morning. Russia, as you heard, say that this was perhaps some sort of accident. What is really interesting, I think, is the possible military impact of this. It might mean that Russia perhaps pulls its remaining fleet a little further offshore than it is now, which might make them potentially less agile, potentially less likely to react. But also the way that people in Ukraine are seeing this. It's also worth mentioning as well that ship, the Moskva, became famous a few weeks ago at the start of this conflict because that was the ship that approached Snake Island, and the Ukrainians on there, remember, over the radio told it where to go to with words that I can't repeat to you just now. But that became a huge meme in Ukraine, and you see it for sale on t-shirts and emblazoned across bags and mugs and things like that. So for that to befall this particular ship, as far as Ukrainians are seeing it, that is another symbol of Ukrainian pushback potentially in this war.
Competing narratives as well. No surprise, we're seeing that all the way through this war about the situation in the city of Mariupol. Russia saying that a large number of Ukrainian soldiers had surrendered to them, but Ukraine saying no, that its soldiers are still fighting in control of sections of the city. What more are you hearing?
Again, this is something that has really moved to and fro for weeks now, and trying to get really concrete, verified information out of Mariupol is so difficult. But Russia does say that it is now fully in control of that city. Ukraine says that their forces still have key strategic areas, places like the Azovstal iron and steel works, which is a really important part of that important port city. So at the moment, both Ukraine and Russia say they still have a stake there. But of course, remember that alongside all of that, the key thing about Mariupol is that there are tens of thousands of civilians still trapped there. And while the fighting continues, they cannot be evacuated and they cannot get the things that they desperately need, things like food and water and fuel and medicine. And I think that when we eventually do see some sort of cessation of hostilities in Mariupol, whichever way that may go, the humanitarian crisis that will be revealed there could potentially be devastating.
Anna, thank you very much. Anna Foster in Kyiv. The family of